Hello everybody, this is Girthquake here, and today we're going to be talking about Slip and Dip version 2. I said I was going to continue making these builds, I was going to continue optimizing, and now that Gearbox has fixed the bugged Raging Inferno, I can do that. We can add that to Slip and Dip, and we can create a whole bunch of damage. Not that it was lacking before, but that broadens the horizons of the weapons we can use to boss with. And on top of that, some skill tree optimizations have led to a wider range of weapons that we can use for mobbing as well. The core concept remains the same. Back when I created this build, I said that it would become the standard for aim-on gun builds, and it has. Using Slippy to loop My Touch's death to keep your kill skills going, to keep Berserk up and there is only red going. All of those combined will create quite a bit of gun damage for Amon. Not on his actual guns, they will create a lot of bonus cryo damage. It depends on your build, how much you're going to be getting, but at its base, There's Only Red max stacks creates 210% bonus cryo damage on your guns and melee. So that's how you're going to do your mobbing. And then when it comes to bossing, it's the same deal as last time, Force of Nature, except it is so much better than it used to be because the bugged Raging Inferno, as you can see here on my class mod, that green skill over there has been fixed. That skill is a double dip dot. Thing is, Force of Nature is double dip. Force of Nature is action skill damage. Action skill damage can crit and create a Raging Inferno dot. That creates a triple dipped dot. Now, I found this back on week 1. I accidentally created a dot well into the millions, wasn't sure how, spent some time messing with it, and yes, it turned out that's what I was doing. No one could really mess with it that well because it was bugged. It was only giving 1 out of 5 points. But now that has been fixed, oh boy is it powerful. So you create these large Force of Nature detonations that can crit and leave a fat dot that will kill anything in the game. Now, this spec isn't 100% min-maxed for giant Force of Nature procs because that would be impractical, to be completely honest. Putting everything you have into the Force of Nature isn't great. It's fun, it's flashy. I managed to create about 9 billion damage by doing that. You heard that right, 9 billion with Amon. He is that Vault Hunter. However, this build focuses more on practicality, and since bosses at most have about 10 million health in this game, what do you need all that damage for? It's completely unnecessary considering you can one-tap everything anyway, as you saw in the intro. So, getting into how it works, we got the Furnace comp here. Furnace gives a fat boost to incendiary damage. That's a static roll. This one came with skill damage, which feeds into Dragon's Breath, but we'll talk about that soon. Otherwise, we really just want it for the skill rolls and the incendiary flat boost. That's going to synergize well with the bossing process that we're doing. Mega Triple Bypass, this is the same one that I've been using in all my videos. It's just so good with the amp. Slippy, like I said, use Slippy to loop My Touch is Death. You see me throwing it constantly. That is to keep Berserk and There's Only Red at their maximum. I have a Jacob's enhancement here, sequencer there. You see that grant consecutive critical hits of stacking 5% bonus damage? That is actually on-shot damage, which Berserk loves. And then we have Piercer here. That's just nice. The big thing here is, though, you want Sequencer and a gun damage passive. Both of those things are going to help your Berserk massively. And then a Watts for dinner here. I didn't farm this. I was lucky enough to have a friend of mine give this to me because he's so nice. But you want as many points or as many parts with amp as possible. That will synergize with what we're doing with Force of Nature. The weapon choices are pretty wide this time around. Hot Slugger is going to be your main mobber. It's so fun, so easy to use, synergizes so well with the amps. Spread launchers for big flashy one-shots. I am trying to get these nerfed, to be completely honest. I don't know if anybody saw my clips, but they're kind of dumb. This sniper's fun. That 5,559 hit, you can make that 5 times. When you charge up the round, snipers are the only order weapons that do this, but all 5 rounds will turn into 1 and you get a big chunky hit that can one-shot Timekeeper from the detonation after it. Tasers are broken, just like spread launchers. These two things are really strong. But as you can see, there's a whole bunch of weapons here, though. The Goalkeeper with kill drones, where is it? Here, Kill drones is a lot of fun. You saw the sticky kill. That was from the scrap cannon here. Wombo combo is a great mobber. There's a lot of options here. The root is stupid if you get it with Jacob's licensed parts. Bonnie and Clyde just got a buff that it absolutely did not need, but it got it. TK's wave, yeah, it's just the normal standard Jacob's weapons. The ballista will absolutely fuck anybody up. These are all great weapons to use because they synergize so well with Berserk in some way or another. 7 cents. Show it. Yeah, 7 cents here. Love it. Gotta was Revenge. I said the root. There's loads of options that you can use with Slip and Dip because of how strong Berserk is. So for firmware, we have High Caliber and Action Fist. High Caliber can give you quite a large damage buff by shooting straight down an enemy and hitting them twice as you shoot through them. And then on top of it, the gun damage you get from it is on shot. Action Fist, the first bit of it is a waste, but that's okay because we get 25% action skill damage from it. And I will take that. So that is the gear to get into the skill tree. Not a ton has changed about Red other than some optimizations. As you can see, we go all the way down over here for My Touch is Death, and then I come all the way down here for Electrical Fire. What Electrical Fire is doing is allowing us to keep Catastrophe going. This is status effect damage for Raging Inferno. This will get you your Forge skill back relatively quickly, so you can keep your action skill looping during combat. Now, you may be noting, I only have 1 point in Dragon's Breath. You may see other builds going all in on Dragon's Breath. That's not what you want to do, because if you remember, I have a whole bunch of amp. Dragon's Breath is amp, and it adds with it. So all we want here is a single point, so we can convert that shot into skill damage and double dip that skill damage passive on Force of Nature. See how that works out? Now, unfortunately, Raging Inferno is not skill damage like its cousin, Tail of the Comet. That would be great. It doesn't need it, though. And then up here, we just got some standard soup. Incendiary soup, Gut Punch soup, Status soup, Gun soup, Melee Overshield for bonus damage from Watts. Oh, before we go, the standard Berserk, My Touch is Death. You know, this is nothing changed here. And then Gathering Storm, this got a buff even though it didn't need it. 45% elemental damage for free from our kill skills is lovely. This is only here for Catastrophe. This isn't doing a lot of damage, but anything to get the shock dots going to get our crit chance up. And then Thrill for healing. And finally, the action skill is Onslaughter with Force of Nature and Stormcutter. Stormcutter will loop Onslaughter, which, to be honest, you really don't need in mobbing, but it's fun. And Force of Nature is the star of the show. It stores damage from 10 gunshots. You usually only need 1. However, you can make this synergize in a lot of different ways, whether it's one big shot or something that creates a lot of individual hits and gets you to those 10 stacks instantly. Certain bonus damages also apply, such as Watts for Dinner and Bolt Action. They will create stacks that will store their damage until a stronger one takes hold. These Force of Nature procs, again, are action skill damage, which is why you want 5 out of 5 on your Furnace for Raging Inferno, because we can't reach it, but we can get there from it, and that is more than enough to kill everything in the game several times over. The things you can do with Raging Inferno are hilariously overpowered, and I have just been waiting for Amon to be unleashed. Thank you, Gearbox. On to the specializations. Nothing crazy here. Really this for gun damage, Bullet Train for gun damage. I have a gun for skill damage from your gun damage, because again, Dragon's Breath is skill damage, and Berserk is skill damage. So both of those things can be funneled with your gun damage. So on top of that, Force of Nature detonations will also get this skill damage, meaning you can double dip the skill damage on your Dragon's Breath shot into the Force of Nature detonation. You will triple dip incendiary damage the whole way through. All damage dealt the whole way through. If you're lucky enough, you will triple dip skill crit the whole way through. So that's kind of where you can see those giant, massive, insane numbers can come from. And then Groundbreaker for funnies. This isn't 100% needed. I have it here just for the hell of it. But there are other options here. You can get a Honed Mind to increase your crit damage on I'm sorry, your detonations. This will also apply to the random crits you may get of your bonus damage that's skill damage. The hone mine is funny. And then if you happen to be doing rocket launcher funnies, you gotta get fragmentation payload in there because that's great. And then of course, the best defense is always a good perk for double dipping. I had the best defense on the min-max setup because that was pure damage. So that is the specializations, that's the skill trees, that is pretty much everything. Again, this is not too much of a divergence from the first version of Slip and Dip. We just got some extra variety, some extra emphasis on the one-shots from Force of Nature and Raging Inferno, and a little bit more insight into how the skill tree for Amon works so we can get those optimizations in to make sure this skill tree is well put together. But that is it. Thank you for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.